everybody. Welcome to Coming Up Roses. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Kelly, and today is Saturday, September 24th, 2022. Welcome to episode 76.
76.
I would tell you what the title of our episode is going to be, but we don't figure that out until afterwards.
Yeah, based on the conversation. So I think we come up with good titles.
Usually something just sticks out, and we're like, yeah, that's going to be the title. Yeah, so we'll see if anything sticks out.
Yeah, we don't have a huge plan this week. One thing that
do we ever have a huge plan?
Well, that's true. Usually you have notes and.
I have some notes here.
Oh, really?
Just some stories.
Okay.
Nothing actually handwritten.
Okay. Well, this week we got the Logans out of town. That was fun. We got Jen and the Logans out of town.
I think we talked about that last week, didn't we?
Did we?
Yeah.
Did we record after we got them in?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Let's see. This week we had nothing. We, one thing.
We made a big decision this week.
Yeah, we did make a really big decision.
Yeah, like a big household family decision, because Kevin and Michael went out to close the pool up for the winter, and we have decided that we're just going to take the pool down.
Yeah.
Because we had it up all summer. I mean, we have it up all the time. It's an above ground pool. And we used it like twice.
Yeah, I mean, between the weather and just, busy and just, I don't know.
Every time we get in it, we have to spend like an hour cleaning it. And by the time that's done, we're ready to get out anyway, because we're not like going to hang out in the pool all day. We just don't do that. So Mom and Dad don't get it in anymore. The boys came to visit the last time. They barely got in it. So it's like, why are we paying all this money every summer? The electric bill to run the filter, the chemicals, all the cleaning stuff. So we are just going to drain it and dismantle it. And
probably see if we don't know how yet, but we're gonna, I guess, start by putting it on neighborhood and see if anybody will come get it. I guess
that just seems weird to me that somebody would come and.
Because it seems like it'd be an all-day thing. I mean, we'd have to drain it.
Well, we'd have to drain it, but like, they take it apart. What if it doesn't go back together? Like, I guess if we're just giving it away.
Yeah, I mean, we're not
like a
selling
lot of work
it. We're
for somebody.
Saying,
but
if they get a free pool,
the pool is like 20 plus years old. It's not.
Yeah.
A new pool. It's got a new liner. We just put a new liner in it.
Put a new liner in it, and the pump's good. The
pump is good. We just don't use it. So I think what we're gonna do is, our deck is built so that there are steps from our deck leading up to the pool. So when we take the pool down, it's gonna be the stairway to nowhere. But I think what we're gonna do is just put a gate at the back of it and put plants and stuff up on the steps. And then we have a lower deck also. You step down off our main deck, and then we have like a 12 by 12 deck on the ground. We think we're going to pull that up too. And
because that's all wood, but
plant grass and possibly put a fire pit out there.
Yeah, we'll have to get some paver stones to put down where I think we plant grass where the pool was, because going around the little corner there, it's just not really.
I don't want to leave anything just open mud pit.
Right. Well, that's why you plant grass.
I know, but even where the lower deck is, I think we need to replant grass, because if we're just going to put a few pavers down where the fire pit sits, we want the rest of it to be grass.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless we do sand.
I don't know. We'll have to figure it out.
So, it's going to take some thinking, but that was the big decision we made today.
Yeah.
It's just not worth the cost anymore. Though our swimming pool and the backyard days are behind us.
Yeah. And if we want to go swimming, we can go to the Y, or not the Y, the rec center.
Which we won't do, but we could.
Yeah.
So that was our big decision, but we didn't make that until today.
Yeah, that was done.
We have been thinking about it, though.
Yeah. It's just a lot of work and money that we don't get enough use out of it to really justify its existence. So maybe if anybody watching wants it, y'all come get it. There's that.
Yeah, it's an 18-foot round above ground pool, 4 foot.
Mm-hmm.
It's not one of those like inflatable side pools. It's an actual real deal.
It's a real deal pool.
We've had it there for 20 something years. But yeah, its time has come. It's in good shape.
Yeah.
I just wanted to empty it and like kick the walls in and drag that shit out.
That's plan B. If no one, wants it and we can't really, no one wants it.
If we're not worried about destroying it.
If it gets, that's what I was telling Mike. I said, if it gets to a point where we just don't give a shit anymore, we take a couple crowbars to it and then we get, see if Troy will come down and help me haul it to the stinky dump. Mm-hmm. Probably have to take it to the real deal dump because it's the metal sides and whatnot. But still, even if I got to take it to the big dump.
Those are all little details that are way in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah.
This is, we just made the decision today. We're at A and that's Z.
Z.
So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's that around here.
Mm-hmm. We had a cool conversation in the car the other day. I was driving Kelly to school. Decided we were going to get some breakfast at the Chick-fil-A because,
pretty much
what we do.
Pretty standard thing.
Yeah. But she orders, when she orders on her phone, it's always, everything's in her name. So when I go, most of the time I'm going there, it's picking up, I'm doing a mobile order for Kelly. And they always, at the Chick-fil-A, they call me Mr. Kelly, especially the manager lady. She believes my name is Mr. Kelly.
Mr. Kelly, hi, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
And he just is like, whatever,
I just deal with it.
I was like, doesn't that bother you? Like, one day this week, it's like, it doesn't bother you that they just refer to you as Mr. Kelly? And you're like, nah, whatever.
Really. Yeah.
Although you were excited the one time we went through there and you got to order it and you were like, oh, I get to be Kevin today.
Yeah, but the manager lady wasn't there. There was some other dude there. I was like, fuck, man. But anyway, I didn't even notice I was doing it. You noticed. Because you hear all this thing about pronouns, which I think is just total bullshit. But when I order, I was like, Mr. Kelly or Kelly R, and I said, that's us. I always say, that's us.
We come to the window and they're like, order for Kelly or Mr. Kelly or whatever. And he goes, that's us.
Even if I'm by myself, that's us. Because it's her name.
But if it's Kevin and his name, then he goes, that's me.
Yeah. Didn't even realize I was doing it. It was like, wow. So,
you pronoun switched.
Yeah.
When you're not using your own.
I am like the ultimate in believing in individuality, and here I am referring to myself as a us. So.
But I mean, isn't that an individual? I mean,
it's an individual group, I guess. I don't know. We're a team, so that's how it worked out.
I just thought it was funny.
It was funny. It was,
and then I noticed when we went through the next day when you ordered for yourself, they're like, Kevin, and you're like, that's me. I was like, When it's Kevin, it's me, even when I'm sitting next to you, but when it's Kelly, it's us.
It's us.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Because it's not my name. That's not my name.
I went to Starbucks with Mom today and ordered through my phone, so of course it's in my name. And we pulled up to the window, and the girl looked bewildered, like a deer in the headlights. And she looked past Mom to me, and she was like, order for Kelly? And Mom was driving. And I was like, yeah.
You know what it was?
Okay.
She saw that it was a mobile order, and she figured there's no way in hell this lady fucking ordered Starbucks on a mobile.
My hair is lighter gray than Mom's is.
Yeah, but still.
Well, I don't think
I'm gonna catch some hell
I think the
over
woman
that.
was just bewildered in general. But, that was pretty funny. Mom was like, what the hell was that? I was like, I don't know. She literally looked like we caught her unaware. We just kind of appeared at the window and she didn't know where we came from.
Surprise, motherfucker. Where's my Starbucks?
That was pretty funny. Yeah, so Chick-fil-A, speaking of Chick-fil-A, they put out this, here we are talking about Chick-fil-A and Starbucks. I am still on the Wonder program.
We're still trying to be good.
I'm wondering right now where my Wonder skills have gone because the last month or so.
It's been a
I've maintained. I've hit a plateau. I cannot seem to break below it. And what's happening to me mentally right now is you can't get below that plateau anyway, so just go get the frickin' milkshake. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what's happening. Because even after I drink the milkshake, it's like I'm not showing weight gain. So I'm just kind of hovering in the same space.
We're ordering one every day. So.
Yeah, so we went, I'm like, all right, just get an unsweet tea. I'm going back to the cutting the sugar out, and that didn't even last till the end of that day. And it's not like I'm eating a lot of sugary things. I'm not. But, you know, my tea at Chick-fil-A, the half sweet, half unsweet now because the sugar, half sugar is kind of snuck back in there. And, I had a parent give me all these, like, Lindt chocolate, truffle things. And so on particularly stressful days, I'll pop one of those in my mouth. And, yeah. So anyway, Chick-fil-A then comes out with this milkshake.
Oh, my God.
It's called the Autumn Spice Milkshake. And I heard that it was delicious. Like, the ad I heard was hilarious.
Yeah, you read, like, a Facebook thing.
Yeah.
Was it from a person?
Did we talk about it last week? No, it was
I don't know if we did or not.
Something I saw shared on Facebook about how good it was. And she was like, I didn't have this milkshake. It had me. And
oh, my God. And I tried it, and it's unbelievable. It's so good. It's not pumpkin spice.
It isn't pumpkin spice. And
but it's
we
better.
were like, what is it? What is it? And then we were drinking them and watching the news. And the people on the news were like, Chick-fil-A's come out with this new... And they all had one. And they were like, it's cinnamon... It's their vanilla ice cream with cinnamon and...
some sort of cookie.
Brown sugar cookie.
But that shit is great. It's just great.
It is the perfect bit. I'm not a pumpkin spice fan. Mm-hmm. To me, that's too much. It's too... Like, I can deal with pumpkin-flavored stuff at Thanksgiving, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. This is the perfect autumn feeling without all of that, like, heavy pumpkin-y.
It is fall in a cup. That's what it is. It's
so
fall
if you next time you go through, get one, because damn.
And just get the shake, because goddamn, it's thick.
Well, I mean, it's just like all their other shakes.
It'll
fill
like
you up.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll fill you. It's actually not as filling as, like, their cookies and cream shake or whatever.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's not really overly sweet.
That's
for a milk. I mean, it is a milkshake, but it's not like, oh my God, this is so sweet, I can't drink it. You can drink it.
There was some bullshit unicorn thing that Starbucks did one time that was just pure sugar. That was crazy.
With Starbucks.
Yeah, fuck them.
I called Kevin on the way home. We had a hair appointment and we were coming home. We were stopped at Starbucks. I'm like, Kevin, what do you want? He goes, oh, just my regular, which is a venti iced coffee, and a venti iced latte with sugar-free vanilla syrup and Splenda. Mm-hmm. And that's usually what we both get. So I'm like, you sure you don't want, like, the pumpkin cream, cold brew, whatever? And he's like, no, well, yeah, God damn it. So I'm ordering, and I'm like, I felt bad because I thought I talked him into the less good option, and then for me to get the good option, I would have felt like an asshole.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and ordered for me a coffee frappuccino with sugar-free vanilla, which I'm sure still has sugar in it. It's still not good for you.
Our audience is like, these fat fucks are never going to lose weight.
But I was like, I can't go home with the sugar-free option when I made you...
Yeah.
Crave the list.
You didn't make me, but yeah.
I mean, I knew as soon as I said it.
Yeah.
I was trying to be nice to you because you were out there messing with the pool. And I'm like, come on.
Yeah,
honey.
I did get...
we sabotage each other.
I drained the pool a bit. I did the chemicals yesterday. This was before we decided to end it. And then I found what I thought... thank God. I thought there was a leak in our bathroom because the ground was sopping wet. Which I noticed it a little bit yesterday, but it was raining, so I just figured, okay, it was draining.
Boring rain.
But this morning I was like, why is it so wet here? And then I looked and I was like, wait a minute, this isn't coming from the pool. This is coming from under our bathroom. I was like, shit, we got a leak under the house.
Kevin comes in with his normal stance. Well, I think we have a problem.
Yeah.
I think we have a leak in the bathroom.
And then Mike mentions the spigot. I was like, oh shit, I didn't even check that. So I went back out and I looked, we have a water spigot there. And Dad has a dual...
Like a V splitter?
A V splitter for hoses. And it had turned. And then it was like sopping wet. That was sopping wet.
Here's
like, oh,
what gets
shit,
me.
That's...
Here's what gets me.
Mm-hmm.
You are a tech support problem solver, right? That's your job, is to listen through a problem and figure out all the things that could be wrong. Do you jump to worst case scenario with your customers?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay, so you go out there, you look at the area. Mm-hmm. There's a window above a bathroom, and there's a water spigot, and you jump to, we have a leak under the house from the bathroom. Rather than checking out the water spigot.
I just, well, and it came.
You didn't go, oh, there's this here. I wonder.
A couple weeks ago when Mike said, well, "There's a ton of water on the floor in the bathroom." I don't know what that.
I don't know what that was all about.
Yeah, we still have no idea what that was all about. I don't know
because it never happened again.
Never happened again. But my head went to whatever happened. It's now under the house and it's not in the bathroom. And then it's all that shit in the zone. Now, I should have realized that it doesn't smell like shit. So...
Water coming into your house won't. If it's a water leak coming into your house, it's not sewage.
Yeah, that's true.
You would have known if it was sewage.
Yeah. But we haven't lost any water pressure.
It just makes me laugh that you didn't even think to check the spigot that was right there.
Yeah, I didn't.
Spraying water out of it.
No, it wasn't like... If it was shooting water out, I would have saw it. But it was like just seeping water out. So it must have been seeping out for a while.
Man, well, probably for weeks.
Yeah.
When was the last time you used that hose?
It's been a while.
Yeah, so... Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's on the well, right?
Yeah, that's on the well. Otherwise, our water bill is going to be freaking crazy. But the spigots outside, all of them except for one up front is on well water. And then there's one out there that's city. And then everything in the house is city.
I have no idea. So anyway, that was the fun of the day, the roller coaster of shit.
Which is led to
plumbers,
us.
And that's going to be expensive. And then we're just like, tear the pool down.
Fuck it, tear it all out, burn it to the fucking ground.
That's pretty much the process of our thought there.
Yeah. If anybody wants a pool and y'all want to come down and get it,
it's yours.
Just let us know. Leave us a comment saying, "Hey, yeah, I'll take it."
You got to come and disassemble it, and then be able to know how to reassemble it. Because I don't know any of that.
If it's an audience member, I'll help you out. But if you're just
you don't want him helping you out, because
well, fuck it.
You don't want him helping. Anyway, they might be able to pay for somebody to come and take it apart and then I never thought about that.
Yeah, if somebody does that.
Yeah, but it's cheaper than buying a whole new pool, I would imagine.
I would think so as well.
Yeah. So if anybody wants it, drop us a message somewhere.
Drop us a message.
Because we're looking to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So this week at school went okay.
Yeah.
We're getting there slowly but surely. Things are coming in, but what I'm noticing and I see it in, of course, when I work with kindergartners, I see it every year, but like even more so in the last few years. And now I'm starting to see it in adults, is this lack of any kind of emotional regulation.
Yeah.
Like, something happens to piss you off or frustrate you, and there's this just impulse reaction to do whatever it is you're going to do. There are no strategies for, like, emotionally regulating yourself.
Yeah,
and
well, that's a generation of people
with kids, I expect it. Because they're still really learning how to identify even what they're feeling, and then what can we do. This is a big part of what we do in kindergarten. Like, I see that you're frustrated about this. Let's talk about ways to, like, take some breaths and think through it, and not just, like, haul off and punch somebody because you're mad, or run away because you don't want to do something, or pout or cry, whatever. And so I'm used to dealing with kids at that level, but I see it happening with adults everywhere.
Mm-hmm. It's because there's a generation of people brought up on 12th place trophies, and fucking you showed up, you get a trophy, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, people not being disappointed, and they're not learning how to deal with it when they're feeling anything less than 100% satisfied.
I heard another theory today that it probably even started more with, and we talked about this a little bit on the show once, but with social media and the fact that if something horrible happens somewhere, it used to be that maybe it would show up in your local news, or if at all, it's not a national news story, because it would have to filter through the local news and then maybe get up higher if it wanted to. It really had to be some horrible shit. But with the advent of social media and the fact that
you can go live on TikTok right at the moment.
Boom, it's worldwide news because, and people think, well, the whole world's fucked because all this horrible shit is happening. And that's one of the reasons why we're always, and there's markets out there for it, for good news. There's Good News Network. There's probably other sites out there looking for.
I mean, yeah, there's
positive.
way more positive stuff than negative. But like, I saw a TikTok video where this girl and her dad were in a Mexican restaurant, and sitting like across the aisle from them in a booth was this woman and a man. And then there was like this wall divider, like chest high wall divider. And then on the other side of that was like a group of like 10 or 12 girls that were having a birthday party or something. And they were loud. The woman at the table sitting on the other side of the little wall was pissed because they were being so loud. So she was like yelling, like calling them all kinds of names and shut the F up and this and that. And got so mad because they all started laughing and screaming about something at one point. She got up and threw her drink on one of the girls, who then stood up and they started throwing food back. And then the guy stood up and they were just screaming at each other, throwing food back and forth in the middle of a restaurant. And I try to put myself in that position because I have been annoyed by people in a restaurant at how loud they are. Mm-hmm. Like you go in to a place, and Mexican restaurants for some reason is different because usually people are loud and partying at a Mexican restaurant. But like if you go into a place and you're trying to have dinner with someone and there's a party or a group that's being really loud. Mm-hmm. When we went to Blue Pete's for brunch that day, and that group next to us was so freaking loud, it is annoying. Mm-hmm. Under no circumstance that I could ever think of would I be so angry that I would stand up and throw my drink at somebody. I would be like, can I get the waitress? Can we move tables? Can you just bring us the check? Can you ask them to quiet down? It's really loud. I would never stand up and like throw my drink at someone and be screaming mad at them.
Yeah.
How do people not have that ability to like check themselves? Just leave. And file a complaint. Maybe you'll get your meal comped. You know, I wouldn't even do that.
People have been taught to deal with adversity at all.
They haven't. That's the problem with our country right now.
Yeah.
Is that we have lost the ability to deal with adversity in any kind of healthy, productive way.
Yeah.
We all just want to scream.
Or just to suck it up. Something shitty happens. Oh, well, that was shitty.
I mean, I even follow like one of our local like state representatives, and he'll post stuff. If anyone comes back to him in the comments, he then immediately is responding with some belittling comment or whatever. I'm like, dude, you are our state representative. Yeah. You should be using your social media platform to listen to the opinions of the people. You're asking for their opinions.
Yeah.
So when they give their opinion to you and it's different from yours, don't come back with some belittling comments.
Yeah.
Just don't comment if you don't want to hear it. Like, when did this become okay?
With an argument, but don't,
It's so frustrating to me because it's like, how am I supposed to teach little kids how to handle their shit when the parents or the people they're around aren't handling their shit?
Yeah.
And
people just aren't able to handle their shit anymore. That's all
sad.
it is.
And unless we do something in a hurry, we need to get back to like people being disappointed and not getting their way and knowing how to handle yourself when that happens.
That's what we'll call the episode, Handling Our Shit.
Handle your shit.
Handle your shit.
Regulate your freaking emotions.
Leave us a comment on how you handle your shit.
I am very good at regulating my emotions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, sometimes I'll get snappy with you, or I'll say something like out of like irritation. Mm-hmm. That's different because it's you. Mm-hmm. I would never go into public and be that way with anybody.
And you know me,
we're laughing it off within a couple of minutes anyway. Yeah. I'm not serious. If I was serious enough to walk out or walk away from you,
I know that you need that. And
I vent.
You can't do that with anybody else, but you can do that with me because you're confident that I'm not going to go away.
Yeah, well, you'll just not ever come back at me. Mm-hmm. Which you don't ever come back. And sometimes I'm like, please, like, call me a bitch here. And you're like, you have infinite patience. But usually, I have never been so mad that I've just walked away from you.
Yeah.
You know, I'll stay, and I've got that Irish, man, I will bitch you right into the ground to where even my mom is like, God damn, like, you're being so mean to him. And this is what he does. He just giggles and laughs and smiles at me. And then I feel like a complete bitch, and I apologize. But, like, I would never, ever act like that to anyone else. No one. You know? I don't know where these people got this impression that it was okay just to go completely apeshit on people.
I know. I think some of it is just, like I said, the social media. You get all this shitty news and you can't process it. And you got, people that have never been disappointed when they were kids. And then you watch, like, some of that, probably the rise of reality TV when you got housewives flipping tables and shit like that.
Oh, that's true.
That's not real shit, Those aren't real people. They
That's
say they're real people.
mostly scripted,
but they're not real
is.
shit, They're not real people. So, fuck them.
Yeah, I don't know. It's disappointing. But as far as the kids in my class go, I feel like we're making some progress. The ones that were, like, really on my radar week 1 have kind of settled in. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, I'm starting to see...
Well, they're getting routine now.
They're getting some routine, and they are starting to, like, form a relationship with me. And so they're getting easier to, like, talk to and calm down and handle and whatever.
Yeah.
A couple...
Just broke them.
Still, yeah, a few of the wild horses have been broken. But there are a few still holding tight.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
And one I don't think that I will be able to break, but that's, it is what it is. Just have to learn how to adapt to that one. But there's one that's just like, the amount of sass. I mean, if I ever spoke to an adult like that as a 5-year-old child, my mom would have handed my ass to me.
My mom has passed on and would kick my ass if I did that to somebody. You know what I'm saying? She would find a way to kick my ass. She would come back to kick my ass for it. So
I need to go to the bathroom when she was supposed to be sitting quietly as, like, a timeout, basically. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, she had to go to the bathroom. So I said, you have 1 minute. And she goes, I'm going to take 2 minutes. And I'm just like,
a little bitch.
Just have to bite my tongue, like. Then she screams, from the bathroom that her poop is green and she can't wipe herself. That's my problem. And I'm like, sorry, child.
I don't want to touch
I don't get paid for that. So, you and I are the only two in this room, so I am not about to step into the bathroom with you.
Guess you need to figure out how to get your ass up to that sink. Wipe it off that way.
Yeah, I mean, that just straight amount of sass. One kid, I turned the lights on one day, and he went, what the fuck? Like, seriously?
That's their hearing that from home. Wow. Which is probably why it's great that we didn't have kids, because our kids would be like,
it's gotten to where, like, I send home the weekly newsletters, like, explaining how we teach the kids to identify and regulate their emotions. Because the parents need that lesson sometimes, too. Yeah. This is what we do,
That's what we should do on the channel. Dang. We'll do a series of videos on how parents should, teach their children to deal with shit.
There's a guy on TikTok. He's a yoga guy. I can't remember what his name is, but I started following him because it was hilarious. He does some, serious, yoga meditation, but he's all tattooed up and he's got a long beard and whatever, but he's like, all right, breathe it in and think to yourself, fucker, you fucker, and breathe out. And, he's just...
Fuck this bullshit.
Fuck this bullshit.
This
and I'm like...
is just that.
Yeah, that's it. But, yeah, so, I mean, it's good. We're noticing a trend, Mondays are super hard, and then Tuesday gets a little better. And by Friday, we're like, oh, this is a great day. And then they go home for the 2 days with no structure, no whatever, no rules. We've talked to them, what are your rules at home? I don't have any
rules.
And then we come back on Monday to, okay, whoosh, we have our routines here. You can't just act like a complete banshee.
Douche.
So, yeah. Anyway. So that's going well, I think. I found a couple of stories.
All right, let's hear it.
In the news. Not to be like Brian Johnson, but let me see if I can get my iPad to work. He never can get his iPad to work. Okay. King Charles, which sounds so weird, has agreed to give... This is a true Brian Johnson moment right here. It didn't even come up.
What? Can you go back?
I don't want to go to that. I want to go back to my notes. Look, I put it in my notes so that I could get right back to it.
For some reason, it's going to...
It's opening up my app again. There it is. Okay.
Okay.
King Charles will give Archie and Lilibet children royal titles if Prince Harry ditches his $20 million tell-all.
Wow.
So if he doesn't write the tell-all book, we're going to give your kids royal titles. You think it's going to be enough for him to be like, okay, I won't write the book?
For now.
You do? You think he cares about his kids having a royal title?
I think he'll hold them off for a couple years, and then after he gets bored or he needs more cash, he'll be like, yeah.
How bad is it that you have to be bribed by your father, the King of England, not to write a tell-all book with Royal Highness statuses for your children? Like, he will give him prince and princess titles, but only if he knows he can trust the Duke and Duchess of Sussex.
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, $20 million, and I don't think I think some of that, because they did not sell like they thought they were. Their books and whatnot that they've already put out, the content they've been putting out is not catching fire like the Oprah interview. You know, when that came out.
He hasn't put the tell-all out yet.
He hasn't put the tell-all out, but they're starting to put content out on, like she's got a podcast that's got no viewership. And, you know, I don't know what he's doing, but who knows what.
I think
people are just kind of over them.
I thought they were kind of over the whole... They just wanted that kind of life, not with the... Like, why would he think that giving his kids prince and princess titles would matter enough for him to miss out on the $20 million opportunity?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Seems kind of crazy. Oh, it says that the exiled prince has no plans to drop his explosive book. So, I guess he's refusing to back down from that.
Oh, well,
he doesn't care if his kids... He probably prefers his kids not be all involved in that. Why do you think he stepped away from the royal family to begin with?
Yeah, who knows? They're all fucked up.
You just don't give a shit about that, do you?
I don't. I really don't. You know, back in 1776, we shot a bunch of people in the face to not have to worry about the royals.
Okay, so
actually, we shot them in the face because they tried to tax us on a breakfast beverage.
That wasn't the only reason. There were lots of reasons.
They said, they're taxing tea, Daddy. And Dad said, get my musket, boy.
Not all Americans.
Not all Americans. No. Enough of them. The badasses.
Los Angeles homeless count raises doubts about accuracy. So this story I read...
I don't see how you'd be able to count homeless.
Okay, so there's a Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority. And they published a spreadsheet breaking down its homeless count by every census tract in the county. Those with knowledge of Venice... it said the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority said there were no unsheltered people, no tents, no inhabited cars or RVs, and no people living outdoors in the northwest quarter of Venice, which is notorious as ground zero for homelessness.
So they're lying.
They just say those people aren't there. They're just not there.
I don't see anybody. I don't see anybody.
I mean, it's... I just don't understand. It says residents are conducting their own tallies. And more recently, a team of professional surveyors working for Rand Corp. And then the LAHSA did not respond to questions about the Venice numbers. but released a statement Friday defending the integrity of the count.
Yeah. How can you count homeless people anyway? Because if you start counting, let's say you start counting in Venice Beach or whatever, and then the homeless guy says, "Oh, I'm going to go to the mission out on."
Well, they probably ask for their name and stuff.
Why would you give anybody your name?
Because the homeless people probably want them to have a higher homeless count.
Yeah.
Because the city then pays more money in for this homeless authority to do whatever it is they do for all these homeless people.
They don't do shit for these homeless people.
They said during the count we received several reports of user and technological errors resulting from a lack of training and poor internet connectivity. But the elections were fine. Despite these errors, we are confident in the accuracy of this year's count because LAHSA and its partners took several steps to account for what was happening in the field. But they said there were none. Zero.
As they were careful not to step in human piss and shit on the street.
Unless they want to seriously address the homeless problem in this country, this right here shows me that the governments of these cities don't give a shit about homeless people.
They don't.
They just don't care.
And the problem is that it's going to start chasing, and it already happens in California. You're chasing all of your small business and anybody who can possibly try to get out of California are leaving California. They're going to Texas. They're going to Georgia. They're going to Florida. They're going anywhere they can fucking go to get out of there, so they're not walking through piss and shit.
And I've heard it's even happening in New York, probably with homeless people, but they've decriminalized so much of like these, you can't piss and shit on the streets and whatever. They've just decriminalized all of that. So you walk down the street and you're like stepping over feces and like puddles of urine and stuff in New York City. Because
I don't want to step on
they
shit.
just marijuana is not legal in New York, but it's decriminalized. So I've heard people who live there talking, like you walk down the street, you can't avoid, the smell of it is everywhere.
Yeah.
It stinks because you've got that and you've got the urine and you've got people just defecating outside of restaurants. The cops can't do anything because the city government has said hands off all of that. And I don't understand why.
Why?
Like, why are you as a government of a city not stepping in to do something to address that problem? People are going to stop coming there.
I mean, de Blasio was more interested in being compassionate, I guess.
Is it compassionate? Who's it compassionate to?
It's 100% not.
It's not compassionate to anybody.
No, it's not.
So this is what I don't.
And this is why people are leaving New York. People are leaving
and their tourism
New York.
I would think their tourism would suffer. Like,
I love Aunt Pat. She gave us an open invitation to come visit New York and stay at her place free of charge, which is awesome. But the thought of going into New York, I don't know enough to where I'd want to see the 9/11. I'd like to see.
Sure, and there's stuff there that you definitely like. They're bucket list things. I also don't want to walk through piss and shit. I don't want to have to deal with some homeless guy trying to rob me. Because if I have to beat the shit out of somebody in New York, that's the other thing. It's
I'm going to end up in jail.
We're not big city people.
Yeah.
And so
I'm going to get picked up right away. People are going to be like, "This hick here, let's go rob him."
Chances are you'd go in there and you'd be totally fine. It's not like you're going to walk in and it's not Dodge City, know. But like, we don't know enough about how to stay safe in those situations, how to navigate on public transit. Mm-hmm. Like, that's very foreign to us because we don't live our lives that way. And I understand that that's my experience in life. It's just I haven't lived in that kind of atmosphere. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is I don't like if it was happening at the oceanfront. Every time we drive down at the oceanfront, we see homeless people on the corners sleeping. If they just started, like, urinating and pooping in front of the rest, like, how long would it take for the city to step in and go, we can't just let that happen?
Yeah, I think the city would step up right away.
Yeah.
Virginia
don't
Beach
you
would.
Want people to come and spend money in your city?
Yeah. Virginia Beach,
Do you think
particularly
those
anywhere
big
on the
cities are
ocean
just
front.
so big they're not worried about
I
losing
think
the...
anywhere on the ocean front, they're going to knock it down. Anywhere near town center, they're 100% going to knock it down.
But my point is, like, we're a very small little community.
Mm-hmm.
New York City is huge. Are they not worried about losing tourist dollars? LA is huge. Are they just not worried about losing?
I think there is an arrogance to, hey, are you really going to leave New York because it's the greatest city in the world? And they let it go to shit. And there are people that are leaving New York, LA, California altogether.
I think they're just leaving and going to New Jersey.
Yeah.
Like, they're not even going far.
No, I mean, they'll go to New Jersey, they'll go to Georgia,
it's
go
really
to
sad
Florida,
because
Texas, Arizona. Arizona has grown exponentially in the last 10 years. Just people leaving, and some of it is, because you can breathe there.
Arizona's going to have a problem soon because they don't have the water supply.
No, they don't.
But I remember, like, I've been into New York City as a younger person. There is really no place like it. No. Like, it's mind-blowing when you go there, how big everything is, how beautiful everything is.
And I'd like to see some parts of New York. But
and I remember, like, my friend and I took the train as, like, 18-year-olds. From this, Virginia Beach is a very small town. It's a big, small town. And
it's the safest
coming off
city.
the train and coming out in, this big train station in the middle of the city, we were immediately approached for money. Like, immediately we were approached. Mm-hmm. Now you worry about young girls being approached for something completely different.
Trafficking.
But there were, like, people coming up to us, and we did see homeless people. And for us, it was because we never saw that here. When I was a kid, you just didn't see it.
Yeah, you see it here now. But...
and it was like, oh my gosh, these people are just sleeping on the streets. But it wasn't enough for us to be like, I don't want to be here. I don't feel safe.
Yeah.
You have to see the Statue of Liberty, and you have to see the Empire State Building. And there's just things you have to experience, Rockefeller Center and stuff like that. But to go there now as an older person who's not, really physically fit to walk through a city, it's scary. And now you just don't know you're going to get on a train. Like, you hear all these horror stories. It baffles me why they try to make it seem like it's not a problem when everyone sees that it is a problem.
Yeah, well, because their bad policy has caused problems, so they have to make you ignore it. They have to try to make you think, oh, this isn't really a problem. This problem that I think is a problem when it really isn't a problem, So.
Yeah.
But what do you do?
I don't know. This is where I always have a problem when we talk politics, because I see things on both sides of it. Mm-hmm. Like, you hear people say that are pro-choice, my body, my choice, blah, blah, blah. And then on the other hand, you're like, if you don't get this vaccine, we're going to take your livelihood away from you.
Yeah.
No, you can't buy a 20-ounce soda in New York. You can only buy a 12-ounce soda. Like, but it's my body, my choice, right? Mm-hmm. Where is the line?
Yeah.
So, I find hypocrisy and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
I don't personally. If I had to fall on one side of the fence there, I'm more pro-choice because it isn't my business.
Yeah.
The same as it isn't my business if you want to drink a 40-ounce soda. Mm-hmm. Not my business. As long... Now, you're crapping on the street in front of the 7-Eleven that I'm trying to get into, that is my business. Because I'm having to, deal with the effects of that.
It's not the freaking, 1600s, folks. You can piss and shit in a place where it's designed for you to piss and shit in.
And I'm sure these big cities have public facilities and
Absolutely.
Places. And if they don't, they should.
Yeah.
They should have hotels. We talked about this, I think, on an episode before. Mm-hmm. That are just for homeless shelter. But, hotels for homeless people.
Somebody had posted a thing about, they could do encampments places because these people are just pitching tents in places.
Did you see pitching tents?
Yeah. Some of these folks are just living in, tents and shit. Well, set aside an area where they can go there. You can have people come in with food. You can give them a mailbox.
Make it safe.
For them to be able to possibly get a job. Okay, you have residence because you have this box that says I live at blah 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 box A or unit B or whatever. That's your lot. You have a little box where you can get mail. Then you can start building a life off of that. You can say, okay, I have a place where I can get, you can send my paycheck here. Okay, you've got a job now. Okay, that's a start. You start building off of that.
But you also have a percentage of homeless people that are mentally unwell.
And
those people need to be cared for and not just allowed to wither and die on the streets.
In an encampment like that, you can get them help.
Yeah.
I think that works better than just having them out in the wild where they're, just going to shoot up or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I guess
if it were easy things to solve, I would hope that it would be solved by now. So obviously, people smarter than me
move the hell out of New York and LA is probably what people are doing. So.
Well, we know that's what people are doing.
Yeah.
Apparently, they all moved out of Venice because there's just no people there anymore.
Yeah, nobody there at all. There's guys looking around. Oh,
yeah,
there's shit everywhere.
I don't see any people.
I don't see any people. I just see shit.
The day before, they were like, y'all better go somewhere else. So they're coming through to count tomorrow. So when they get there, all the people are gone. They just come back when the guys are done counting.
Don't look homeless.
Oh, I can't remember if we asked this question before or not. If you had inside information about a company, would you use it to make money?
Sure.
First of all, it's against the law, isn't it?
Insider trading is against the law, but I mean, it's one of those things where you have to get information that you can't possibly get from, there's rules to it or whatever. But I mean, it happens. It's just like if you got an inside track of something that was happening in some sports thing, like it happens with horse racing. Well, we know that this horse is the fix is in for this horse, or whatever, that sort of thing. The thing is, it does happen. The thing with Martha Stewart, her thing though, it wasn't that she did it; it was the cover up. She went to jail for the cover up because the cover up is almost always worse than the crime. So,
I can't think of a situation where I would have inside information about a company that I could use to make money off.
Yeah.
I don't really dabble in stocks.
Yeah, I don't either. So. You just gotta, and sometimes...
I'd probably be too afraid to do anything because I'd be afraid that I was breaking the law in some way.
Yeah. Well, and then you'd have to really rely on the information and hope it goes the way you think it's going to go. And there's always factors that can go and come in play that no one accounts for. So it's still a chance. So if your good friend were getting married and you thought it was a mistake, would you say so?
No.
No. You don't.
I wouldn't. I mean, now if the guy was like beating on her, I probably would say something about it.
Yeah, I mean, if there's violence involved,
I'd be like, you might want to reconsider.
This guy, Yeah.
But if I just didn't like the guy for whatever reason,
the guy's kind of an
asshole,
asshole, but
weird feeling off him, I probably wouldn't do anything about it.
There you go.
I've never known that to happen, though. I've always, what act of kindness have you done that no one knows about? Well, you know what? If I've done an act of kindness that no one knows about, that's because I don't feel the need to toot my own horn.
Yeah.
And that's not a question I would answer.
Yeah. I mean, you should just be kind and not,
acts of kindness, do hundreds of them every day. I do hundreds of acts of kindness a day.
Yeah.
Just by being polite to people.
There. Holding the door open for somebody or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do.
Giving a hug to a kid who's crying.
There you go.
In the hallway, or all the time. But I don't feel the need to proclaim it. So it just gets done.
Just do it anyway. Just start. The base level should just be: I'm not going to be an asshole to somebody. Not out to hurt anybody. Not to fuck anybody over. You start there, and then. Little acts of kindness. Help somebody out. Open a door for somebody.
For God's sake, just say thank you.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Kevin always says, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I noticed that. Kevin, instead of saying, oh, I appreciate it, he always is like, I appreciate you. Which has a much better meaning to me.
Yeah.
Because you're appreciating the person and not the act. So,
well, there you go. There's
I always
my
like
act of
when
kindness.
you say that.
All right. Have you ever parked in a disabled person's spot without a permit?
No.
No. And that's 100% true.
I have never parked in a disabled spot without a permit. I might have parked in a disabled spot without a disabled person, but never without a permit. We try not to do that, though, really, right?
No, we absolutely try not to.
That makes us sound like terrible people. We have a disabled permit for our car because of my mom.
Yeah.
And it always hangs in the car. And I will tell you, if it's a quick run in and out to someplace, we're just like, and there's like 50 handicap spots, like at Walmart or Target, has like a...
Target always has a ton of them.
We're just like, all right, we're just going to park here because we're only going to be...
It used to be you could go into Home Depot and there'd be a ton of them, but lately I guess more and more disabled folks are figuring out how to build shit.
Sometimes, not that this makes it right, but there are days I feel quite disabled.
Yeah.
Like yesterday. The rapid decline in temperature, because we went from like 90-something degrees to 70-something degrees the next day.
Which is nice, but...
Which was like all super humid one day and like no humidity the next day, which I'm totally enjoying. My knee, however, did not enjoy the rapid shift in temperature because that arthritis, it feels better today than it did yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I couldn't even put my heel all the way down on the floor when I was walking. So I was like tiptoes on my right side because I could not completely extend my leg out. Today, I can extend my leg out. The first couple steps are painful, but then it starts to feel better.
And I'm always cracking, like my knees and my back or whatever. And you'll hear it. You can audibly hear my shit cracking. And it's always like, oh my God.
And I legitimately do have osteoarthritis in both knees. I have no cartilage in either knee.
Joe said he'd sign off on the paperwork.
I know he did, and I never put it through. So
yeah, because we already got one.
If it were possible to pick the sex of your baby, would it be ethical to do so?
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't think
Just
so.
roll the dice, you know? It's, whatever's meant to be will be.
I mean, there's something really wrong about that. Saying, oh, I want to have a daughter so bad, I'm going to pick the gender of my child. I'm going to alter my child's development in utero to force it to be female. That seems really wrong to me.
Yeah.
You don't force
I'm
your child to be one gender or the other. They're born with certain sex organs and assigned a sex at birth. The gender question is a big social thing right now. People, I'm sure, have all different kinds of feelings on that. But choosing the sex of your child before birth, how is it any different than, like, if you have a son and he turns out to be transgender, but you're refusing to acknowledge, like, I just don't see the difference.
Yeah.
You just don't do it. Just let nature take its course.
It's easy as that. A lot of the answers...
I mean, if you're so hardcore that you don't want a boy, then put it up for adoption, because there's plenty of people who do.
Yeah. A lot of the ails in the world can be solved with the idea that, you know what, just do nothing.
Just do nothing.
Just do nothing.
And let other people live their freaking lives.
There you go. Don't hurt anybody, don't take their stuff. It's not that fucking hard. What would you do if you're...
I know you almost sang that, didn't you?
I know. I tried not to.
What would you do?
What would you do if your child wanted to dress up as Pocahontas for Halloween? All right?
What would I do? Are they not allowed to dress up as Pocahontas for Halloween?
I don't know why you wouldn't. Like the Disney character would suck ass, but the actual, I guess if you're going to be historically accurate Pocahontas?
I mean, is it seen as culturally appropriating
Who knows?
Native
nowadays?
Americans if you dress up like Pocahontas?
Probably. It's probably that.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Then how is the whole movie Pocahontas not culturally appropriating? Because, by the way, the movie was bullshit.
It was complete bullshit.
So, but Disney, runs the world, apparently. According to something we saw earlier today.
We saw a cool post on Facebook that started out with just the stuff that Disney's done in the last 10 years. And then it kept getting into darker and darker shit, what's going to happen in the future. It was great.
Here's a legit question, though. This is where it gets kind of sticky, because if we had a daughter and she wanted to dress up as Whitney Houston, would you think twice about that as a white girl dressing up as a black woman? We know how that
do blackface, but
you can't.
Yeah,
right.
Mike's always had this idea of doing a zombie karaoke challenge for Halloween, where you do karaoke, but people go in dressed up, zombified as the singer they're going to do. Like you do Whitney Houston, right? You get somebody dressed up with Whitney Houston, they'd sing Whitney Houston and be like, or whoever. And I don't know.
To this, is the image of Pocahontas offensive to any Native Americans?
I don't believe so. I wouldn't think so.
So, by dressing your child as Pocahontas for Halloween, it's more of a statement of admiration than, your kids dressing up as something they like and they want to be. It's not going,
I would have a problem with it if it was a teenager and they're dressed up like sexy Pocahontas. Fuck that.
Or if it's offensively.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if you had boys dressing as cowboys and Indians, that would be deemed offensive in these days.
Everything's offensive, blah, blah, blah.
I mean, my personal stance on it is none of that should be offensive. It's freaking Halloween.
First of all, being offended is a choice. You choose to be offended. That is always a choice.
But also you have people dressing up as mass murderers and killers, and they're walking around with bloody stumps and shit. How is that not offensive?
Yeah.
To somebody?
Yeah.
To me, just let the child dress up like Pocahontas, for crying out loud. The Little Mermaid, if she's white or black, makes no difference. Yeah. None. Just enjoy it, and if you don't enjoy it, then move on. The little kids enjoying it, so be it.
Goes back to leaving people alone.
I mean, I'm going to tell you, I made Halloween costumes for my nephews of the Three Amigos. That picture comes up on my Facebook, and I cringe at it now. Because I'm like, ooh, that might be seen...
Somebody goes after them as cultural appropriation, but, I mean, it's a great movie.
It's
a classic movie.
Might be looked at today completely different than it was 15 years ago or whatever.
Because people are bullshit now.
I think we just need to embrace... I mean, to me, if a kid wants to dress up like Pocahontas, that means that they are embracing that...
Yeah.
Culture, and as long as it's not inappropriate, she's not carrying around someone's head or scalps aren't tied, all of that. It's Pocahontas, for crying out loud.
It's really.
I mean, who is it okay to dress up as?
Yeah.
I think, was that your question?
Yeah, that was me.
I have so much to say about that. Do you strive to be a moral person to achieve happiness in this life, in the afterlife, or for some other reason?
No, I just don't want to hurt anybody. Don't want to be, I just want to do my thing.
I mean, I think I strive to be a moral person to achieve happiness in this life.
Yeah.
I don't worry about the afterlife.
No.
Because I'm not living my life today so that I have a certain position in the afterlife, because I don't really believe that. I think you just kind of go away.
I don't think...
But...
I do it for happiness, though.
And I don't do it to make other people look at me and admire me. What other reason? I just do it because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a happier person if you live by your own moral code, right?
Yeah.
I would think so.
I mean, here's the thing.
The rub is who defines what the moral code is.
Yeah. Well, as long as
Do
you
you
ain't
dress up
hurt
like
anybody,
Pocahontas
yeah.
or not?
Just don't hurt anybody. Don't take their stuff. Don't let people live their own lives. You know, it's simple shit, and that's you're living morally by letting people do their own thing by not hurting anybody, and it's not freaking hard. It's really honestly not hard.
I think going back to this question about the Pocahontas
It
costume.
really bothers you.
It does. In our neighborhood, we're sitting out giving out candy, and a little girl comes running up in a Pocahontas costume. I can almost guarantee you that not one person has expressed disinterest in that child's costume. No one is going to say, well, she shouldn't be dressed up like Pocahontas. That shit you hear people screaming on social media.
Yeah, that's because
that
they're
is
in the
not
safety of their
happening in
home.
real life.
Yeah.
I really don't think so.
No, probably not. It's not.
Now, there is a difference. Like, if you're in blackface, that is offensive. That you should not do. But, like, yeah, I really just don't think that's a real thing.
Yeah. Which is the most important virtue? Don't hurt anybody. Don't take their stuff. It's like,
I mean,
this
what
is
are
our theme
what are
today.
the virtues? Are there specific virtues?
I don't know.
Like, is there a list of virtues that are deemed acceptable these days? Because everything changes. Everything's changing,
I guess
right?
the Ten Commandments?
I don't... No, that's religion. You can't talk about religion.
Well, shit.
So let's see. What are virtues? 7 virtues. Again, that's a Christian thing. So, this is according to Wikipedia. There are 4 cardinal virtues: temperance, justice, prudence, and fortitude. And then there's theological virtues: faith, hope, love. The 7 capital virtues, as the contrary or remedial virtues, are thought to stand in opposition to the 7 capital vices or deadly sins. So, chastity, faith, good works, concord, sobriety, patience, and humility.
Wow, all those would have to be patience.
Here are maybe an updated list: chastity, temperance, charity, diligence, kindness, patience, and humility. So let's go on those, because I don't know what concord is.
Like a grape?
Yeah, it's the opposite of discord.
Yeah.
Okay. But, all right, so chastity is the opposite of lust. So chastity is the virtue that stands in opposition to lust.
Okay.
Okay? Temperance is the virtue that stands in opposition to gluttony.
Okay, so you turn
temper
down
yourself,
the
right.
Autumn Spice fucking milkshake.
Right. Charity is the one that stands in opposition to greed.
Yeah.
Okay. Diligence is in opposition to sloth.
Okay.
Kindness is in opposition to envy.
I don't see that.
Patience is in opposition to wrath.
Yeah.
And humility is in opposition to pride.
Yeah.
So if we're looking at those virtues, which is the most important one?
For me, it's patience. But that's just because I'm an insanely patient person. I understand that more than anything else there. I would think. Because I actually see value in greed and pride. Even sloth. 1 second.
You see value in sloth?
Yeah. Not all the time, but...
All right,
you know,
go let the dog out.
Yeah.
The dog's tired of this conversation.
She's pissed at us.
She's knocking on the door. She has no patience.
Go on.
Now she's not going to go.
You're killing me, Pop.
Just leave it cracked a little enough that she can get out.
Yeah. You're crazy.
She's a crazy doggy.
Anyway.
I
mean, sloth meaning sometimes just take a break. You know? A little me time.
Wouldn't that be... Well...
That, you know, Here's the thing with the
Well,
virtues
first,
and what they're listing
chastity,
as sin.
I don't. That's probably at the bottom of the list for me.
Yeah.
What someone does there that's on them, right? I
Yeah.
don't. Temperance just is like the ability to like control yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Charity, diligence, kindness, patience, humility.
Well,
Honestly, to me, patience and humility are probably, kindness is up there too. Those three, I think, for me, if I was going to list my top 3 virtues, like what I think maybe which are the most of the virtues that kindness, patience, humility, I would feel like. I mean, I've had times in my life where I wasn't any of those things.
Yeah.
But who hasn't, right?
Yeah. Well, everybody's experienced all of those things. Everybody has experienced all of those things.
Well, you wouldn't be human if you didn't.
Right. But I think the idea that everybody thinks that, like for me, greed, everybody's so down on greed. But, sometimes, I mean, everybody has greed for something. Everybody just assumes that you're talking about money. Oh, you're just a money grubber. Well, even if they are, as long as they're not hurting anybody, if they're producing something that that somebody wants and they're selling it at a price that they're willing to pay, yeah, it's greed, but it's not. It's a good thing. There's stuff happening because of that.
You take that to a whole different. Like, I think when you say greed, you mean like hoarding shit and not like taking it and hoarding it when you know other people need it. Just because you have to have it all.
But
I'd be like driving down in a freaking Land Cruiser, Tesla, whatever, $100,000 car, rolling over top of people's tents on the street. Like charity.
Yeah.
Reach out. You don't need all that
run
money.
over the tent so you don't get shit on your tires.
But you don't need to have a $100,000 car in order to be happy in life.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely.
You can have a $15,000
I'm just saying there
car.
is value in greed. There is value in some of those.
There's
other
value
things.
in all of that.
There's value in all of it. Yes.
I mean,
to some degree, not
to some degree.
You can't.
I mean, maybe not wrath.
There isn't any of those that you can just be that's your whole thing. And I'm an extremely patient
no one
person.
should be any of those to the extreme.
Right.
Even in the virtue side.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can be too patient of a person.
You can be
be walked all over.
Your goal is to be balanced.
Right. But yeah, I think I'm more of the. I think I have more humility than you do.
Probably.
You are all about like putting out there. He wanted to.
Go ahead.
Should I tell him?
Yeah.
So we were talking about like taking the pool down, what we're going to do in the backyard and all. And he's like, all right, I'm going to throw this idea at you. And I don't want you to say no right away. I want you to like think about it. I was like, all right. He goes, we can put out on the podcast. We'll set up a wish list for like the fire pit and the pavers and the stuff that we're going to need to like redo the backyard, which is minimal amount of stuff. Like we probably can redo the backyard for under
pavers are
$500.
expensive. I mean, some of the stuff is going to
I'm not even talking about getting a paver. We had that big concrete circular pad tile-y thing that we had once before.
Well, that's gone, but
I know it's
find
gone,
another
but
one.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then we put it out on the podcast and we let people like. And so I was like, "What do you think I'm going to say to that? Like, what do you? Why would you think I would immediately say no to that question? To that?" And he's like, "Well, good, because you don't like." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think we should be throwing out. Those aren't things that we need. It's like panhandling to me. Now, I know I put like up a wish list for school stuff.
Yeah.
Because I hopped on the Amazon teacher wish list train, because we do. And that's not stuff for me. That's stuff for, like, my students who don't have things a lot of times. So,
you're doing it because it benefits others.
Yeah, I would never, say, hey, I want to buy myself this smokeless fire pit. It's going to be $400. I'm going to put it up on a wish list if anybody wants to chip in toward it. Like, I would never do that. So yeah. There's
Let
where
us
the
know in the
humility
comments
part
if
comes
you guys
in.
would be willing to chip in. Got it in. Got it in.
No. All right, your question?
Oh, yeah, it's me. No, I didn't.
No, it's my question. If you thought something illegal might be going on at work, would you invade someone's privacy to find out?
No, I don't invade people's privacy. I don't. But if I thought something was illegal and I didn't, without invading their privacy, there's something that obviously happened. I would I would probably report it to somebody, and then my hands are done. If they want to go and invade their privacy, that's on them. But I'm not going to do it.
That's what I would do too. I would report it.
And it has to depend on what's the illegal activity too, because there's some shit that's just like, oh, whatever, fuck it, it's not a big deal. But other shit is like, no, this guy's really fucking up. And
there's a line.
Yeah, there is a line. There's some things that I'd be like, I'll let my soup know what's going on. Let them fucking worry about it. I'm not going to worry about it. But if that means I have to like provide, if they say, well, can you provide proof? I'm like, nope, that's on you, not me. I'm out. I'm letting you know what's happening. I'm out. You want to watch them, or you want to pay attention to their shit, or you want to search their stuff, that's on you, brother. You want me to produce evidence? It's not happening.
Yeah, that's probably what I would do too.
Yeah. All right, last one. Mm-hmm. Would you notify police if your child committed a crime? Well, that's why we didn't have children, so we don't have to worry about shit like that.
Depends on the crime.
Yeah, I mean, if your kid murdered
somebody.
If
they were DUI driving and they killed somebody, probably.
Yeah.
That's a tough question. I don't know. I don't have children.
But if they underage drank, I'm not going to report it to the cops. I'm just going to smack the kid around a little bit.
I mean, if they stole from a bank, or they did a bank robbery,
yeah,
probably. I don't know. That's impossible for me to answer that. I don't know.
Who knows?
All right, let's finish up with some headlines from the Good News Network.
Good News Network. Let's see.
And then we're off to make steaks for dinner.
Yep. Let's see. Beautiful city of Savannah wins survey of top 5 most underrated places to visit in the USA. We've talked about going to Savannah, so maybe we'll have to put that on our list. Let's see. New scoliosis brace that grows with patients wins Dyson Award for grad student who wants to make a difference.
Brilliant.
That's cool. That grows with people. If you can help correct the kid's back without them having to replace the brace over and over again.
That's pretty brilliant.
That's cool shit right there. Mom says her baby's sight was saved by a message from a stranger who spotted an anomaly on TikTok.
I've heard about that happening a lot, actually.
So people spot something on
people
somebody's
will
TikTok
see
video.
like a shadow or something in the eye, or like a lump, and they'll say, hey, you might want to get this checked out, and it turns out to be something. I've heard of that happening a lot.
That happened once on not the Murder Channel, the other one Mom's obsessed with.
HGTV?
HGTV. There were an episode of House Hunters, and this woman had some sort of issue, and a doctor, an oncologist, got a hold of the producers of the show and says, this woman needs to get checked out immediately because she's got this going on. And the producers went to the lady. She got it checked out. Turned out she was, had cancer, and they were able to catch it and get it taken care of without
Yeah, it happens a lot.
That's crazy shit, man.
A lot more than you think it would happen.
Let's see. Volvo launches 3 new massive electric truck models for heavy-duty use.
It gets 3 miles in between charges of the battery.
Let's see. Former debt collectors.
You might be able to make it from one exit to the next.
Yeah. Former debt collectors have wiped away $6.7 billion of medical debt for millions of Americans.
There you go.
All right. Let's see. Review of more than 100 studies shows cold water and air increase good body fats.
No shit.
Yeah. Maybe we shouldn't get rid of the pool.
Here's what I saw. Cold shower.
Yeah. Sustainable 3D printed ranch house wins award and takes just 2 weeks to construct. Watch time lapse, so you can watch the time lapse.
I just don't trust a house that goes up in 2 weeks.
But we talked about the 3D printed houses before. I think it's a great way, particularly. A couple of things I've seen over the last 10 years that I thought was amazing. One, the 3D printed houses, but the other thing was when the hurricane rolled through or earthquake happened in Haiti, They were able to do a portable hospital that was inflatable. That was a usable hospital. Not for like surgeries and shit, but basically triage. So they're able to actually build a hospital in like an hour.
They used it.
To use, to use.
They used it during coronavirus too.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic shit. And if you could build houses, cheap houses, maybe instead of a tent city for the homeless people, maybe they print up a bunch of houses.
As long as they're not putting them in places like Florida where it's going to get blown away if any wind gets over 20 miles an hour.
Well, I don't know.
I mean...
These things are probably more sturdy than that.
Yeah, I doubt it. All right, read one more and then...
Ospreys hunted to extinction are now breeding across England for the first time in over 200 years. A tremendous success.
All right. Good for them.
Good for the Ospreys. Getting it on.
So, those of you in Florida, there's a storm coming up on y'all this week, so...
Cover up.
Cover up. Batten down the hatches. Go get your milk and bread.
I got training next week, so I got a halfway decent schedule. That's cool. That's good news.
You'll be off around dinner time. I completely forgot
Getting
about
off
that.
at 7 o'clock in the afternoon, or in the evening, I guess.
And it's the last week of September.
Yep.
So our next podcast will be October, which is my favorite month of the year, I think.
Yep. I'll start telling maybe show stories or whatever. That'd be cool, like we did last year.
Would it?
Yeah.
Can we just rerun last year's episode? All right. Well, we got a lot happening. We're going to take a trip in October. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Halloween. Just don't dress up like Pocahontas.
No Pocahontas.
Any, otherwise ethnically identifiable character.
Yeah.
And you'll be okay.
Like, comment, and share who you would definitely not dress up as for Halloween.
That would be a really interesting, top 10 most offensive Halloween costumes.
Like, I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah. Let us know what you think would be the most offensive Halloween costume.
Probably human centipede.
Yeah, that's pretty. We don't even want to go there. All right, but until then, y'all enjoy your week, and we will see you soon.
Bye, everybody.